Welcome again to the workshop of Wood Spun Around. I'm Doug. It's good to have you all with me today. I know I know Brian is also doing a demo. He should be getting done pretty soon, but we're going to turn another little piece of pear here. I've got a bunch of this ready to go, and so we're going to turn this. This one's going to be the opposite of what we did last time. Last time we put a little live edge on top of a bird's mouth bowl. This will be more of a traditional bowl. So the bark side is going to be the bottom. So with that being said, let me share with you who I've got with me today. We've got Wayne Clasper,
Good
also
evening,
known as
everybody.
Clasperoni, and Mark, he
Hi,
who
Rob.
is the master spindle turner and struggling to get through this batch. So I'm going to put you guys back in the background again, and one of
Good
you can
idea.
read off the folks in the chat tonight.
Come on, Mark. I'll let you do this one.
Oh, yeah, I've just been volunteered, have I? Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
I
let me
did
go to the
Tuesdays.
top. Right, good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. Thanks for having me along, Doug. Right, so first up was door 60. And then we got Gerard the French Turner, Brent Beecroft, Brian O'Tonero, Brian with a Y. Hodgepodge. Hi, Robert. Kelsey's Crafts, Lucy Bundy Rowe, Donna Glen Gove, Ian Leach, Roger Kent, Ruby Clare. Hi, Ruby. Hello, boss.
Evening, Ruby.
Big jump then. Good too. Barry Chitty,
Did you see Shane?
Shane Hurst, just getting to him.
All right, sorry.
Henry Scrollsaw Works 69.
That's Larry.
Bailey Woodworks, so Chris. And that's me at the bottom of the list.
All right.
Sorry if I missed you. Blame you two. Oh, Wayne. This is fault.
Yeah, it's
Good to
my
have
fault.
you all along.
Oh, God.
I did not get this piece cut down on the bandsaw. I started to, and there was a bit of a crack in it on this face side that I was going to cut out. And lo and behold, if I didn't break my bandsaw blade, so it's not round,
Oh,
but we'll make it round soon enough.
yeah, that's what lathes are for.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's here. You guys don't let me forget after a while. I will share that piece we did last week that I colored, little bird's mouth bowl with color on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
My wife said, I like it except for the color on the inside. Well, I said, well, I did that on purpose. We always do the color on the outside. I just want to do something different. And it came out pretty nice. But I'll show that to everybody after a while.
So, how many coats did it take for it to soak in and get a decent looking finish?
About the fifth coat, it started setting on top like it was supposed to. So it didn't take all that much.
Oh, good.
And but I put, golly, I don't know, Wayne. I probably put 16, 17, 18 coats, something like that on it altogether.
I've just got to take a phone call a second. I'll be back in a minute.
No problem. Baz has come in.
Hey,
From Real Simple
boss.
Things. Hey, Baz.
Okay, we've got a tenon established there. Now we can finish getting this round and get some shape on it. Remove my tool rest.
Seeing as how Baz has come in, at some point he will mention Bernie.
Of course. No, we're not.
And Gerard, the French turner, said, my wife is the same, Doug. She doesn't like colour on wood. She says it looks like plastic.
Well, it can. No question about that. It can, especially when you put 20 coats of lacquer on it.
Well, there is that, yeah. Oh, Mike Evans has just come in. Evening, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, did we get Barry Chitty as well? I can't
Hey,
remember.
Barry. I don't remember. I don't remember hearing that one. These early stages, there's just a lot of tool rest movement because uh, cutting so much air. As we get past the air, we have these big gaps. It sounds like it's rattling an awful lot. It is. There's a big square section still at the very top edge. I'm still getting past.
Now, you were saying on Tuesday that the Bradford pear tends to be classed more of a weed over there.
Yes, at least here in Kentucky it is.
Yeah. What sort of size does it go to?
It will grow to about, I don't know, 15, 16 feet tall.
All right,
And
okay.
the trunk will get to, well, I've seen some pretty big ones that'll get close to 18 to 20 inches in diameter.
Right.
It's not a huge tree. One problem is it's invasive. It spreads like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the other problem is they were brought here as specimen trees. And they are a pretty tree. They bloom real pretty white blooms in the summer or in the spring. But the tree itself tends has this bad tendency to fork early. And so as it forks, that causes weaknesses. And so
Okay.
as the tree begins to mature, it splits like crazy. A windstorm can come through, have winds of, 20, 25 miles an hour, and half your tree ends up in your yard.
All right, okay.
So
Sorry about that. I'm back.
you're okay. You're okay.
I have to say it was Dan from Taylor's Murfield. He was being
Ah,
very needy. He was being very needy. He wouldn't stop ringing me, so I had to phone him back.
Okay. Right, just to let everybody know, Fred Gilliver's just come in, Jennifer Creations has just come in, Brent Beecroft has said that his missus doesn't like colour either.
Did you say hello to Malcolm Douglas? Because he's popped in.
I don't think I did. I don't think I'm getting that far down. Kevin 9K has said he's turned 3 bits of quarter sawn today, got through the bark, loads of tiny splits, but the last one turned out okay. Lucy has said, I think I've just mentioned that, Lucy. Lucy has said, did Doug say what the wood was? It's Bradford pear.
Paul Finley's just joined. Hi, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Right, I'm going down the list again now because I've been holding that there until Doug and I stop chatting. Lucy said, Andy's going to be in shortly. Is that not you, Lucy? Being in shortly? She's going to slap me one of these days.
She is. She'll have to get on a ladder to do it, but she will.
Well, she will.
Hello, Jennifer.
All right.
So you might have said, Doug, but I was otherwise engaged. Is this dry or wet or in between?
It is pretty dry. It is pretty dry. I'm not getting any indication of moisture in it, not in this piece. Sometimes I'll pull one up out of the same tree that feels like it's wet, but this is feels like it's bone dry.
So is this from the same tree of the piece that you turned on Tuesday?
Yes, it is.
So that piece has been that tree's been down. Was it 2 years it's been down?
It's a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian with the Y's got a question.
Yes.
He says, what's the most popular bowl size, both to turn and from a buyer's point of view?
Oh no, that is a very open-ended question. That is, Brian.
Oh, Doug's,
You can
Doug's,
never you can
Doug's
actually
pressed the
never
wrong button.
tell. Oh, he's pressed the wrong button. Evening, everybody.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, I'll move my knee and put the camera straight. Doug will be back in a minute.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
I don't know. There's something with my mouse. I'm touching something strange every once in a while, and it goes away. So I don't know. I'll figure that one
Your
out.
audio is gone, Doug. No, your audio's there. You just sounding very
Crackled.
alien. But answering Brian, that there is no popular bowl size from a buyer's point of view. Buyers will buy what they want to buy.
Yes.
Now, at the beginning of the year, I showed a piece on my live. It was a piece of ash which I turned wet, which had a huge crack in it, and it warped tremendously. And on another live, I finished it off, did a bit of sanding, put some finish on, and that sold within 3 or 4 days of being in the shop. You can just never tell.
Look, put us in the background.
Come on. You don't want to be in the foreground?
No.
No, I do that on Wednesday, Mondays.
I can
There
put
we go.
myself on mute then and get on with these spindles.
Right, hang on. Lucy said that she gives a good slap across the back of the legs. That's nice to know, Lucy.
My answer to Brian with a Y, from my experience, 10 to 12 inch bowls sell better than bigger bowls.
How
People
deep?
don't 3 inch, 10 to
Okay.
12, 10 to 12 diameter, 3 inch deep, because houses nowadays, especially in the UK, modern houses aren't as big as they used to be. People haven't got the space. So they don't have sideboards. They have smaller kitchens. They don't have as much room to put big bowls out.
Right.
And they
10 to
can't
12 inches.
They can't afford the food to put in the bowls anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably a big
And
point.
Todd at Glen Cove has said Doug needs a white paper chef's hat to go on top of the face mask, based on that
Nah.
smock.
Nah. Now this wood, this wood is cutting off. That looks like it's wet, but it's not. This wood's dry.
Oh, you're
Right,
just doing nice cuts.
Gerard has answered Todd and saying the hat that he's talking about is called a toque, I think it is. And the height is different following what level you are. The head chef hat is the tallest, or the head chef's toque is the tallest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, Robert said he's found that the bulls that he does, which are around 12 to 14 inches diameter, sell the most. I've got to say, I sell more coloured stuff than plain stuff.
I think with coloured stuff you can probably go bigger because it's more of a canvas.
No, they still tend to be around about 12 to 14 inch, the most popular sizes. Ruby agrees with 12 to 14 inch.
See, North America, see? Bigger houses, more space.
Lucy is referring back to the slap on the back of the legs because that's as high as she can reach.
We had a long discussion one time about bowl sizes, and everybody was wanting to go to the huge lathes that would turn a 20, 24, 30-inch bowl. And the discussion went very similar to what you guys are saying, that people really don't have the room for a huge bowl unless, it might be in their living room on a coffee table or as a centerpiece. But in general, most people, excuse me, most people can't spare the space like on a dining room table for a big bowl. That 10, 12, maybe even 14 inches is about all you needed to worry about.
I had a customer who they were adamant that they wanted a 22-inch fruit bowl.
My goodness.
And I said,
That's going to hold some fruit.
I said, do you realize how big that is? And in the end, I had to, I cut a blank out of a piece of macrocarpa, 22 inches diameter, took it round their house and sat it on their dining room table. There was about 3 inches either side of this bowl. And I went, that's 22 inches. They went, oh, it's a bit too big, that. No, really. They ended up with a 10-inch.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, really.
Right. Lucy said she wants Andy to make her a decent sized yarn bowl, one that actually holds current day sized balls of yarn. I haven't turned many yarn balls. I've turned a few. I haven't turned many. But the ones that I have turned have all been around about 9 to 10-inch diameter by around about 4 to 5-inch deep.
I've turned one that a customer asked me for. And when she asked for it, I said, that's fine. What size? Uh, Knowing, and I explained, I understand different skeins of yarn will make a different size ball. And so, how big a ball do you want to put in it? And she told me about 6 to 7 inches for the ball. And I said, well, what if I do one 8 to 9 inches, a bowl that big? And she said, that sounds perfect. And once she got it, she loved it. So,
Now, Brian asked a question about bowls. He said the reason I asked is that he can only turn about 8.5 inches diameter comfortably on his lathe, but that seems a reasonable size for most furniture. You're right there, Brian. You're perfectly right. You can do decent, okay, albeit smallish fruit bowls out of that size diameter. You can do decent salad bowls, and basically all diameters underneath that size, going down to bowls for sweets and various other things like that.
Yeah. Nice cuts there, Doug.
Said, yeah, Brent said, when a customer wants a large piece, I suggest that they cut out the diameter they think they need and then call me.
yes, that's a great idea.
And Lucy's said to me, the ones you can buy just aren't big enough as the yarn isn't technically in a ball shape anymore.
They all come in sort of figure of eights now.
Yeah.
Or hourglass.
I still think around, well, like I say, the ones I've done been around about 9-10 inch by about it's the depth more than anything, because you want to have something depth wise rather than diameter wise that's going to fit something in. Plus you need the depth to cut out the section in the side
Yes.
for the yarn to go through. Either that or you do what Mark does and drill a hole through the side for the yarn to go through.
My trademarked bowl with a hole. Yes, but you also need to keep weight in the bottom of the bowl.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want is when they're, I don't know how to knit, but when they're pulling the
which
wool
is
towards them, the bowl
which is
needs
why
to stay still.
yeah, which is why basically you have the depth there.
Yeah, exactly. Rob from
Rob's just
Clickspor's
come
in. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Rob. Gotta figure out I got something bumping in there about halfway down the wall.
and Andy's just come in. That's Lucy's
Hmm.
other half.
Just a
Hello,
spot.
Andy.
Strange place in the grain is all. It's right there.
Seeing as how I'm earworming Lucy, I'll read that message after and get back to you. I can't multitask.
Oh, come on. Had that argument the other night. She who must be obeyed said she could multitask. She could do multiple things at once. I said, no, you can't. You've only got one brain. She says, well, I said, no, what you do is you start 15 things, but you only do one at a time. And she had to agree.
Well, that's true.
Raise that tool rest up just a touch.
No problems, Lucy. No problems.
Ben's in. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Ben,
Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
got a nice piece of walnut on here just for you.
Right, at the moment, Doug, we've got 47 people in watching.
Oh, great. Glad to
And
have all of you.
we've only got 9 thumbs up. Come on, guys.
Oh, what's with that?
Kevin 9K says, Mark, don't yarn bowls have a curled slot in the side? They can do. Or they can be like mine with a hole.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, Kev, if you think about it, what's the easiest thing to do? Drill a hole in the side of a bowl or cut one of those slots in the side of a
Exactly.
bowl.
I'm not
Yeah.
daft.
What the last one I did, I had tried a couple before, cutting them, using a jigsaw and all kind of things, starting from the top and working my way down to the
Yeah.
bottom of the hole, and they always got weak on one side and would break.
Yeah.
So the last one I did, I left the sides of the bowl about 3/8 of an inch thick, drilled my hole, and then drew my curl to it, and then came back and from the hole out, cut it. And it worked a whole lot better. I've got something I want to try on the next one, see if that doesn't work even better. Can't help but think it will.
Right. Kev saying he was just thinking traditional. To my answer about putting a hole in. Brent has said, my wife is a knitter and she always takes a new batch of wool and rewinds it into a ball. When I
Right?
asked her why, she said because it won't tangle and not when she's knitting. And you can actually buy. I remember my mother having one of these, and she actually had a hand operated thing that you wound, and it turned the wool from the like the figure of 8 thing that Mark mentioned into a ball of wool, and she
Right.
always found that easier when she was knitting.
Yeah, my grandmother did exactly the same thing.
YouTube really hates you, doesn't it, Ben? Not only is it repeating your comments, it's tripling them.
Doug
Yes, it is
o'clock.
double.
I don't know that I'd claim that.
Ward Wilson's just come in
Hey,
Hi,
Ward.
Ward.
from the west coast of Arizona.
I don't know if anybody saw on Facebook Amy from over in Australia. You just had an earthquake close to them.
Quite
Oh
a
my
sizable earthquake by the sounds of it too.
Yeah, around about 4.8, I think it was. Right,
That's-
Kev is saying this is one for you, Mark, because we're going back to the yarn bowl again, and he says, what size hole would be the best, and would it need to be chamfered?
I used to use the 30mm force and a bit, and you do need to chamfer both sides. You have
Yes.
to hand sand it.
And
There
Michael
can't be
McEwen's
any
just come in.
snags.
The slot needs to be chamfered on both sides too.
Yep.
If you do a slot.
And now, I haven't done the one that Mark does with the hole in the side, but I mean, I saw Mark doing these quite a few years ago. And now I don't know how Mark does that. Do you actually drill the hole before you hollow out the inside of the bowl, Mark, or do you drill after you've hollowed?
I shape the outside, and then I drill the hole, then I hollow the inside.
Now, the reason I ask that, because if you do it that way, you've got less chance of getting tear out on the inside of the bowl. Whereas
Exactly.
if you clean out the inside of the bowl, then drill the hole, there's more chance of getting tear out, which is
Yep.
going to be harder to clean up.
But you get breakout
Yeah,
splinters.
that's what I meant.
And the reason I shape the outside first is so that I can see where I need to drill the hole to clear where the bottom's going to be after I hollow out. And Kev's saying 30mm is a big hole. It needs to be a big hole because some people who knit use that really thick yarn. That real big, thick, woolly stuff comes from sheep
It's called wool.
and rabbits,
Camels.
That's not called wool.
alpacas, llamas, yeah. Anything else that produces wool-like substance.
Got a little spot
Now,
in the bottom.
my sister Paula, who does quite a few different crafts, is also keen on knitting as well. And a few years ago, she was knitting some really, really big stuff. And I turned her a pair of knitting needles, which were around about 2-inch diameter.
Solid.
Yeah, I can't remember how long they were. There is photographs somewhere on my, I'm sure on my Win the Wood Turner Facebook page.
If you go back to look at my early videos, I did either a video or a live where I did one. Yes, Andy, I've just seen it, mate. They look a bit small, those brass inserts. But if they work, happy days. And Hodgepodge, neither Wayne or I are going to read that out, because he's already chuckling away about it.
Talk about popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kev said, Wayne, that's a fishing net, 2 inches.
Kev's saying an 1.25 inches is a big hole. If you think about it, that's a 4-inch deep bowl. So you come down about 1 inch from the top of the rim. 1.25 inches. That still leaves you 1.75 inches from the bottom of the hole to the bottom of the bowl. It's all about proportions.
Yeah.
So you're not going to colour this one then, Doug?
No, I don't think
I was
so.
about to ask, what wall thickness are you going for, Doug?
About that good. Oh, smart aleck answer, I know. That is yeah.
Don't you wish you did metric?
Yeah, exactly. That's an eighth of an inch. I was trying to, I couldn't hold it
Right,
still as part of it.
right. That's 3 mil then. For those of you
Thereabouts,
who
yes.
Now, the reason I ask is that I was just thinking that that's the prime size for doing some piercing work on.
Okay, now that I've turned the vac off, you say that's a prime size for what?
Doing some piercing work on.
Get some of the dust off. Okay. It's one reason I like to shut everything down, blow it all out, take a good look. I've got just a little, I don't know, it might be the remnants of tear out right there. So we'll get just a, well, in fact, let's reverse the lathe, go at it from the different direction. I'm amazed how sometimes just you have a little problem area. You go at it for just a moment from the other direction, and if your lathe does reverse, and then come back at it the way you were going, the normal direction. I may have to get a little more aggressive here. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. It's not. What's that I keep hearing? This is a practice piece.
Practice piece, demo piece.
Practice or demo piece.
Yeah, I'm just showing you what to do.
Yeah. Normally I would spend more time. I'd go all the way back to 100 grit and get that completely gone and come back up through the grits.
Oh, Douglas is in. Hiya, Douglas.
Hey, Douglas. All right. Let's
Douglas,
see.
he's saying he watched a YouTube video yesterday that the turner used a spindle roughing gouge that a smith made where the tip unscrewed to change. It looked like a solid piece of high-speed steel bar had been drilled then ground. Wasn't that an old Sorby tool?
I don't remember
Where
who
you could
made it, but I know
unscrew
the tool you're talking
unscrew
about.
the end. You could
He said,
unscrew the end. Yeah, he said spindle roughing gouge.
Mm-hmm.
right, now, I can't remember who used to make them, but you used to be able to buy bull gouge tips. I think also
Weren't they Rolly Monroe?
I can't remember they may
That
well have
might
been
be.
Rolly Monroe because
Might be.
he did a lot of different stuff. Ben's put in that it could have been Doug Thompson as well.
Um,
I
I
don't
don't know
remember
that.
Doug Thompson. I don't remember Doug Thompson doing anything like that.
I don't either.
But you used to be able to buy ball gouges and spindle gouges just where you unscrew the tips and put a new tip in once it's worn out. And I really don't remember who used to make them. It may well be Rolly Monroe because he came up with some very innovative ideas.
I'm only saying that because I saw a New Zealand turner using one a few weeks ago in a video,
Right.
and it just sort of rang a bell that it was Rolly Monroe who made the tool.
You may well be right.
But he had a funny grind on it. Really, really sharp, very, very pointy grind.
Now,
Well,
Hodgepodge, Robert from Hodgepodge is saying that Woodcut
Woodcut.
does that.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because they're New Zealand, aren't
there
they?
we go.
Just have a quick look on Google. Google is your friend.
Mark's having a quick look. He'll get back to you.
Just putting a little bit of walnut oil on here just to bring out some of the color before we go any further. Well, got the dropsies today. Speed the lathe
Ben's
up
been
will
a bit
burn.
sarcastic again there. Ben has said if it's made by Woodcut, it won't be very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel the sarcasm going through that one.
Mm. Realized what last night, maybe. Is it Rycon that owns Woodfast, or is it Woodfast that owns Rycon?
Now, Woodfast used to be Australian.
Yes,
Woodfast used to be, but I think all the layers are Chinesium now.
they might be. The reason I asked, Sid Franklin has a Woodfast, and I've been
And it
kind of
does it,
drooling over, and Daniel Dubois has just gotten a Rycon,
the
and they're the
Raycon,
identical lathe.
and they look very, very similar.
Yep.
Now, I put in, a good few weeks ago now, somebody had mentioned Woodfast, and now, as far as I'm concerned, they were one of the best layers on the market back in the late 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Probably after Vic Mark, to tell you the truth. And Woodfast were on the go for a hell of a lot of years. But somebody from Australia had actually replied to my comment and said that they're no longer in business and they are now made in China.
Hmm.
Google has succeeded. There you go. There's a link. They are woodcut tools.
Woodcut. Okay.
But I was right. They've got a 35-degree bevel on one end. 35 degrees on a bowl gouge. And 55 degrees on the other.
There you
That's
go.
extreme.
Now, do are they the screw-in end tips?
Yeah.
Bowl gouges
Interchangeable
got?
tips. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Grand.
Save money by just replacing the tips.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Have a look at that site. See how much they are.
I was going to ask you, how much are they?
Lots. Ben was right.
See, the going back to the Woodfast lathes, Record Power did a copy of one of the Woodfast lathes, which was the Maxi 1, I believe. They also did the Maxi 2, which I think had a revolving head. I don't think the Maxi 1. I might get them two mixed up, but that was based on the Woodfast lathe.
Okay. Went from the oil, and I
In
kind of
fact,
burnished it
if I
in.
remember rightly, Chris SG, who is down in Cornwall, he uses I'm sure it's the Maxi 1. He's got the Record Power
Yeah,
Maxi 1
he's got
lathe.
the Maxi 1.
Yeah.
He bought my old lathe off me. Then he's moved up to the Maxi.
Okay. Andy has said 127 New Zealand dollars plus sales tax.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that one a miss.
How about no?
Sounds like it to me.
Right, Fred said the Maxi 1 has a revolving head. It must be the Maxi 2 that is based on the original Woodfast.
That's one of the things I like about this lathe is the head does revolve. My headstock. So normally when I turn bowls by myself, I've got this turned at a pretty decent angle so that I'm not working out over the bed at all. Makes it a lot more comfortable on my back,
Right,
especially doing hollow forms.
Gerard has said it's only €76. Todd at Glen Cove has said New Zealand $127 equals US 77.
Yeah, and then that much again for shipping.
And Douglas has put in the tips are 52 to 86 New Zealand dollars.
52 to 86.
Now the thing is, what you want to have, what you want to do, or what everybody, if they are interested, wants to do, is do an internet search and see if you're in the US, see if there's any distributors in the US. If you're in Europe, see if there's any distributors in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you like me, don't bother and stick with Sorby.
Yeah. Or Simon Hope.
Or Crown, yeah. Or no, Simon Hope, yeah, which is the Crown ones.
I've got Sorby's and I've got Doug Thompson's. Pretty much everything I've got.
I would absolutely love some Doug Thompson ball gouges. I really would.
Right.
But
yeah, the import and exchange is just too much, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of these fine days, if I ever get across there.
I'd actually like a set of Ashley Harwood gouges, and then I'd just change all the grinds on the ends from 40/40s to my 55s, just for spice.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mark, I'd probably change all the grinds as well. It's just the hardness of the steel that I'm after.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, the cryo, I've got to spend just another half a second to sharpen it. But once it's sharp, I don't have to sharpen for quite a while.
Yeah.
Now the skew, the little half-inch skew there, I still sharpen it fairly often, but I do it on the on my stone, not on the wheel. It's only been on the grinder twice since I had it the last 2 years. Just putting a second coat of wax on here.
Andy Axminster do stock woodcut tools. I don't know if they actually stock those gouges though.
Don't think they do.
And Robert from Hodgepodge bought a glazer gouge online in an auction for $10. Yeah, we don't need to hear about that. We definitely don't need to hear about that, Robert.
That's you stole that one, Hodge. Or maybe Harry stole it.
Yeah.
We'll blame it on Harry.
You know, we were showing off earlier, and I was shaving the hairs on my arm.
Yeah.
Is it bleeding now? Thumb off. No, just
Mark. I just got rid of my band-aids. Come on.
Sitting here shaking my head.
I was only messing about.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a little
No, Andy, I didn't think they did.
No, they sell the woodcut bowl saver though for 700 odd quid.
That's 700.
That's painful.
That's a lot.
It's a lot for any coring system.
Mm-hmm. I was watching watching one of the ladies up in Ohio that turns, and her husband does her coring for her, and they were using a one-way core. I sure like the looks of that one-way.
It's a very similar system to the woodcut, though.
Yes, very similar. The one-way has a rest that goes into the wood.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, it does.
that's the
support
bonus
arm.
there. And I've been using McNaughton, and the McNaughton works. It's great.
I've only ever used a McNaughton. That's the
Yeah,
only system I've ever had.
That's the only one I've ever had. I've used the one way, and I did like it. Must admit, it was much easier to use. But oh, that reminds me, I've got to say a public thank you if you don't mind, Doug.
sure.
For those in the UK who know him, some of you in America know him. Paul Hannaby dropped round and saw me earlier in the week, and he brought me the 2 smaller knives for the McNaughton system that I've got.
All right,
Oh,
I've got
very
them.
good. Very good.
So I've got to say thank you, Paul. That was really nice of you.
Paul's a great guy. He comes in um, our Wednesday night group after he gets off work, and he doesn't typically work on Thursday, so he'll come in. He'll stay up late and come in our Wednesday night group, which is goodness, I guess starts at midnight his time and Ural's
Yeah,
time.
it is. Yeah,
Um,
it's midnight our time. Yeah.
so it's always good when he comes, and when he does a demo, my goodness, the wealth of information that he shares with the people there is
Yeah,
incredible.
Capitalist Turner. He used to be the
Right.
chairman of the AWGP, so
Right?
Right. Larry.
well known.
Larry is just put in here a question. Are the gold knives wood turning tools good tools? Now, I think you might be talking about the Robert Sorby ones there, because as far as I'm aware, they're the only ones that are gold coloured. They are very good, because what they've done, they've put a oh, what's the
The
code
Entra.
for it?
Titanium nitrate.
That's it.
Yeah, which actually holds the edge up to 3 times more than an M42 steel, I think it is. That is predominantly the certainly with the ball gouge. That's the ball gouge I use all the time, and I absolutely adore it.
They do hold the edge well.
You used to get a lot of questions on that bowl gouge, didn't you, Wayne?
Yeah, it really is a great gouge. I've got
Sovereign.
the three
That's it.
eighths. The sovereign, that's the one.
Sovereign
I've got the
system.
I've got the 3/8 and I've got the half-inch sovereign ball gouge.
Ruby has the one-way system, and Michael McEwen has the woodcut system.
All good systems. They all work.
I think the biggest difference, okay, the one way and the woodcut basically cut out a semi-sphere, if you like. The McNaughton system, you've got a little bit more flexibility as to what shape you can do.
Yes.
Gerard, you're absolutely right. Wayne,
It's the Excelsior.
Excelsior system, yes.
Yeah,
The Sovereign is the boxed, different handle thing, isn't it?
it is.
See, Gerard knows.
That's because he's a chef.
uh, the one issue with the revolving headstock is that it is difficult to get it. It's difficult for me to keep it lined up. Um, so, can you hear that? There's a
Yeah, I can
rumbling
hear
noise.
something.
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure. I think it's the wood rubbing against the block that's in my chuck. where it's not exactly square, but it won't be there very long. And I've got a paper towel in there. It's not like it's going to mar it up. Plus,
Practice
it's an
piece.
oil and wax finish, so.
Now, Ruby has said you can change the bowl shape with the one-way system.
Hodgepodge has said, would that be by adjusting the pivot point midway through the bowl? I can imagine that's about the only way you could. Either move it in or out.
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a demonstration. I've heard that before, but I've never seen it demonstrated. So I couldn't say.
And Ruby has answered yes to Hodge's question.
Okay. So I guess you sacrifice a little on one side or the other.
Dances with Aardvarks.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Now, I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to Mike here. Now, if anybody is wanting to do different stuff within wood turning and make your own jigs and mess about with doing metal work as well, go and watch some of Mike's stuff that he does. That is, I'm sure it's Mike Sem, CEMM. He puts a lot of stuff on Facebook about the stuff that he does. He is absolutely amazing.
He's bonkers, isn't he?
He is totally.
He always reminds me, like,
The thing
what's
is,
the scientist, the doctor out of Back to the Future?
Yeah,
That's just what I imagine him to look like.
Now, man, he does all these amazing things. The Pierced box that he did just last week into this week is absolutely brilliant. He asked me for some advice. He asked me for some advice about a fortnight ago. I thought, what the bloody hell is he asking me advice for?
He's actually agreed. He says, yeah, he's off his rocker. He's mad as a box of rocks.
Oh, me. Makes life more interesting, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, there's no point being sane.
Douglas has said, Mike, did you ever have a rocker? Yeah, he uses a rocker when he does wood turning to get some of the shapes he does.
If he hasn't got one, he'll make a jig to make one.
Well, to tell you the truth, with all the stuff that he does, I'm just waiting for him to build his own Rose engine.
Oh, don't encourage him. Can you imagine him with a Rose engine? Ornamental lathe. He'd be like 35 days just to make one cut. Ain't nobody got time for that.
They are amazing, though.
Oh, they're definitely.
Oh, geometric.
I mean, the one that Captain Eddie's got is it's just totally out there.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, right. He's just put in a geometric chuck is in the works. Bloody hell, Mike. You've got too much time on your hands, Sunshine. You definitely have. He's on Facebook as Mike Sem.
CEM.
He is CE. Is it CEM or CEMM? Can't remember.
CEM, I think.
Right.
Mike, can I put your Facebook link in the chat?
But he is obviously on YouTube as Dances with Aardvarks.
You're right, it is CEMM. Okay, thank you, Mike.
That's
you sure?
That is one workshop I'd love to go and have a look at.
You're absolutely sure, Mike, because YouTube is public. I just want a second yes before I do it.
He's put it in there.
No, he's put one yes. I want a second one. Okay, there you go.
Yep, there's the second one.
There you go. There's the link. Great guy. Totally bonkers. Great guy, though.
Putting my sanding disc
Right,
on the.
Lucy, Mike is in England. Whereabouts in England? He might not be. He might be in Wales or Scotland, but he's certainly in the UK somewhere. Whereabouts? I'm not sure.
Don't tell him where you live, Mike.
Oh, he's in Brum.
Keep it secret. Brum.
Making a minor design change here.
Chamfering the edge.
Yeah, my little foot that I had on there had chipped out, and I didn't realize it until I had it turned around and was sanding it. So, actually, when I was sanding it.
Michael McEwen saying, Doug, that Nova part number 2MTNA is their alignment tool for their head and tailstock.
Yes.
Double-ended.
Yeah, that works. My biggest issue is my wallet.
Yeah, I think we've all got that issue.
Yeah, I don't mind spending $1 to do something better, but that seems like such a it's an expense that just seems worthless to me. I can put a drive center here and my live center over there and bring them together, and they'll be pretty doggone close.
If the points match up, you're doing fine.
Yeah. And they're usually not. This is an early model of this particular lathe, and for some reason, I've got an issue, and I'm pretty sure it's in the tailstock with the way it is set up and everything. And I should be able to dial that in and get it perfect. But everyone, including Nova, has said, shim it or leave it alone. Just deal with it. So I used to shim it. I had a piece of aluminum foil folded up that worked perfectly there for a little while. But then somebody said, whatever you do, don't put aluminum foil in there. I still haven't figured out why.
Because they'll have heard an anecdotal wives' tale somewhere along the line.
What may have happened, the only thing I've deduced, they've left it in and they've slid their tailstock up and down and left some aluminum on the bedways, maybe. That's the only thing I can think.
I've got one of those double-ended taper alignment thingies.
Yeah.
But only because it came with the lathe.
Right.
I wouldn't have bought one.
Yeah, it's one of those tools that it just seems silly unless you have one. If you have one, it makes sense to you and you'll use it. Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of this shield.
I don't have.
Do you know what one of the other tools that I've got that I wish I'd never bought? One of those pen insertion tools. You know,
I've actually got two of those.
The tapered, yeah. They're pointless.
You don't need it.
You don't need them. No. But just because somebody said you had to have one.
There's the CA glue with the cap on it. What does that look like?
Exactly. Pen insertion tool. Now,
this particular one is a little larger than some. That would not work on a slim line. But on some of your larger pens, perfect. There's tapers all over our shop.
I was going to say, at the end of the day, we're wood turners. You can make one.
Absolutely.
That's lovely. Nice little bowl.
Just a nice little bowl. Let's see what it turned out, finished out at. 4 5/8 in diameter.
That is the
and one in 3/4. No, 1 5/8 high. So it's a nice little size to have sitting around. Good for the wife's dresser or your dresser, for that matter. Anyone's dresser. M&Ms. Coins, keys. Yeah. I don't think about M&Ms anymore. I haven't eaten M&Ms in many years. So anyway, that will get. I'll still engrave my information on the bottom. Uh, Smells lovely. The wood is itself has a nice smell to it, but then it's got walnut oil, and I waxed over the walnut oil. So nothing real fancy there.
Lots of nice comments coming in, Doug.
Did we? Thank you, thank you. Did we get all the questions answered?
I think pretty much we did. Plus a few that we weren't. Plus a few that weren't even asked.
Well, yeah. Discussions tend to go that way, don't they? Somebody asked the other day what I did my signature on the bottom with, and I use this. It's a simple engraving tool. It's really meant for metal, but it works tremendously. That little point just vibrates in and out is all. Almost like a tattoo machine. This is a very inexpensive one. Our cheapo tool distributor here, Harbor Freight.
Buy one over here. You can buy one very, very similar from either Lidl's or Aldi.
Yes, those would be your all's places there. But anyway, that's what I'll use. And I'll have wood spun around and pair and the date. Actually, the date goes in the second ring, usually on the bottom, and the species goes in the center ring. So that's why I do the 3 lines. And I've done that for many years now. So anyway, just a nice little bowl. I'm guessing.
I think talking about the engraver, Doug, Robert Hodgepodge has said Cindy Drozda uses that and then fills it with wax.
Yeah. I will quite often do it when the wood is still raw. I've just taken the tenon off, sand it, put the rings in it, hit it one more time with 320, then I'll engrave it. And then whatever finish I use, whether that's wax or lacquer or whatever, will go into that raw engraving, and it darkens it, and it looks quite nice. But wax, a colored wax would be perfect. Of course, you're going to get all these other rings as well, but that's okay too.
Ruby's asking, where did you get your yo-yo kit from, Doug?
The yo-yo kit itself came from Wood Turnings, WOODTURINGZ. They're out of Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. They sell primarily Penn State kits, but not all Penn State. So, but their yo-yo is a ball bearing yo-yo kit, $4 or $5.
Now we were talking about the yo-yo kit on Tuesday night before we started.
Yeah.
And you were saying you had to do something a little bit different to the finished piece to get it to. I don't know if it was to get it to work properly or something.
Yeah, the bearing is a touch too loose. I have not done anything with it yet. I think what I can do is put it back in the pin press, put the whole yo-yo in there and squeeze it side to side, and that will clamp down on that bearing just a little more. And if that doesn't do it, I need to disassemble it and do some more work, some internal kind of work. But it's a great bearing. It is so loose, I have a hard time even winding it right now. But we'll get it.
Right.
We'll get it.
Okay.
There's the link for that website.
Okay. Yeah, woodturnings.com. I buy most all my pin kits and all the kit kind of stuff I get from them primarily. When I want something a little higher grade, I'll go to Turner's Warehouse or some of the other. There's one. I wish I could remember the name. Anyway, there's one that sells high-end kits.
Okay, Ruby has said, I've always made mine, or she's always made hers, without a kit, just a dowel in the center.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm just having images of Ruby sending herself off to, I don't know, Austria to learn how to make rope so that she can then learn how to make the string for her own yo-yo kits.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing she'd do.
Absolutely. How to wind it and get it to come out just right.
Hang on, Mark. I actually learned how to put string together so I could do my string pulls.
Did you? Didn't surprise me. I thought you invented rope. Wayne just invented rope. I am so going to pay for that later. She's going to message me.
Go ahead, Ruby, get him. But yeah, that's what I do, Ruby. And the reason I did that, I was going to use a piece of dowel, was my original intention, and not use a kit. But the wood will grab that string, and you can't have it hesitate. You want a degree of hesitation in there. This bearing is just a touch too loose. Somebody else did
French.
one. Somebody else did one. Yeah, it's French. Somebody else did one, and they used just a piece of metal rod. They couldn't get theirs to work either. At least mine
No,
will go up and down.
right. Yeah, the thing is with using bearings, and from what I've seen on some of these real artists that use yo-yos, they get them to spin across the ground before it pulls back. If
Right.
you've got a solid dowel in there with the string wrapped around that, you're not going to get that effect. Whereas with bearings in there, you will get that effect before it actually starts wrapping around again and start pulling back. So I think it's more to do with the types of effects you can get with working with the yo-yos.
Yeah, if you want to do all the tricks, it's gotta be able to spin free.
Yeah.
Yep. All
I never
right.
could
Well,
use a yo-yo.
I never was very good. I could do all the basic tricks. I had about 10 tricks in my repertoire when I was a kid, but that's been many moons ago.
I had two. I could make it go down. I could make it come back up again.
There you go. Yeah.
I couldn't even do that. And then, when I was a kid, I used to ride skateboard. That was my trick.
There you go. Carl Jacobson made his, and he couldn't make his go up back. He could make it go down, but couldn't make it go back up. Well, it's been an hour and 7 minutes now, so we're gonna knock this one in ahead. I'm gonna bring these guys back over for just a half a minute here. Ding, 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 ding. There we go. Got to find the button to make it do that.
Go back.
So, Wayne, thank you again.
No
Mark,
problem,
thank
Doug.
you
Like
as
I say,
well.
anytime.
Appreciate both of you coming over. I know Andrew from AGK was he's had some blood pressure issues and a lot of work going on, and I guess Jamie's probably just getting out of bed, maybe.
Yeah, Jimmy's probably still sleeping after last night.
He may be. Mark should be back next week. He said that he's no, not Mark.
Sorry.
Scott. This is Scott. So anyway, Scott should be back next week. He's having to work late this week and was going to get home right about time to start. So asked if I could go ahead and do that, and not a problem. I don't mind doing it.
Doug, if you don't mind, can you do Tuesday for me again, please?
How did I know that was coming?
I'm teaching Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday next week.
Mark is still on catch, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still doing hundreds.
It'll be it's becoming real quickly. Occasionally turning with Mark.
No, I think maybe you can have Tuesdays, and every now and then I might ask if I can do one.
You know what? That might work. That might. We'll talk about it.
No, in all seriousness, that sounds like a plan.
You do Tuesdays, and every now and then I'll say to you, "Can I do one?" Because
that might work.
I've been funny. I'm not complaining. I'm just too busy.
Well, yes, with sales and your custom orders and teaching, like Wayne was saying the other day, you become an RPT and everybody and his brother starts calling.
Well, the other thing is about Mark, he's got to find time to stitch all them bloody badges onto his bloody
I don't even stitch them on myself.
Thank you, Kim.
No, don't. Shh, Kim doesn't do them either.
Okay, we won't ask. Okay, anyway, thanks everybody for coming in.
Watchpod says, Mark, you're going to lose out on all that YouTube money. All £2.63.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes. I
my!
agree. I agree.
I'd
All
like to
that
see
YouTube money.
$263 a week.
Yeah.
That'd be $10 a month. Oh my!
I know.
God, I'm
I
not
don't.
even getting that.
Oh mercy.
Rob says I've got
Well,
sandpaper to sell.
there you go.
Rob from Klingspor said he's got sandpaper to sell, and Rob's got grandkids to feed.
Well, it'll all work out in
Yeah.
the end somehow. I'm not sure how, but it'll work out somehow. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you probably next Tuesday. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye bye, everyone.